Religiously, understand the 7 principles of hell. You'll understand the 7 demons within you. You'll understand the whole concept. There's a whole metaphysical concept. We ain't go over that, but anyway, so.
Wow. I've been up here a lot. I've never seen a crowd like this. I think we need a ballroom, and that's happening. It's going to be a beautiful ballroom. This is really a lot of people, most I've ever seen in this room. And we're here for a very serious purpose, Something's out of control, but we're going to put it in control very quickly like we did on the southern border. I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States. I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening. They've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. And you people are victims of it, too. You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed. And you all know people and friends of yours that happened. And so you can be anything you want, but you want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go into a store to buy a newspaper or buy something. And you don't have that now. The murder rate in Washington today is higher than that of Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City, some of the places that you hear about as being the worst places on earth, much higher. This is much higher. The number of car thefts has doubled over the past 5 years, and the number of carjackings has more than tripled. Murders in 2023 reached the highest rate probably ever. They say 25 years, but they don't know what that means because it just goes back 25 years. Can't be worse. Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs and homeless people. And we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it. Just like we did on our southern border. Nobody comes through our southern border anymore. 3 months in a row, we had zero. I don't know if that's right, but the people that do the work, it's a very liberal group of people, actually, and they actually said zero for the last 3 months. Nobody thought a thing like that was possible. And, you know, when you say take a look at numbers, I just saw some charts. These are different cities throughout the world. Red is, okay, the red is a place called Washington, D.C. Look at these. Baghdad we doubled up on Baghdad. Panama City, Brasilia, San Jose, Costa Rica, Bogota, Colombia, heavy drugs.
All right, y'all. Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble day. Continue to have a blessed and humble afternoon. This y'all shorty Rachel. I want to welcome all of y'all to the Writers for Life. Brings you the Let's Talk About It. All right. Now, this right here has gone viral for some reason. All right. Everybody's talking about it. A lot of people is mad at Trump, right? Because he's doing this. Others are agreeing, all right? Some are, I need to do some, deeper research into this, right? Y'all want accountability? Hey, let's talk about it, all right? Now, y'all heard what Trump is saying, right? He's going to get hard on the crimes on DC, right? He's thinking about, sending the guards and stuff like that. I've heard him say that a lot about other cities. I think Philadelphia was one where he's like, I'm gonna send the troops and much more, right? So I've been hearing this a lot. A lot of people are complaining, and you know what's crazy? I'm not gonna sit here and lie. We need to get harder on the crimes, all right? My thing is, right, everybody want to talk tough, right, on crime when it's like, how can I say, when it's the youth, right? But let's be real. It ain't just the youth out here wilding, all right? Grown folks been setting the blueprint like for the longest, all right? Addicts, all right? Folks battling mental health and the ones pulling the strings behind the screens. Yeah, them too. So before we start pointing fingers, let's ask, who taught these kids the game? Am I loading, guys? Give me 1 second. I just got to make sure that we're not loading. Because I'm looking at the phone, and for some reason, I'm looking like I'm loading. So hold on. All right, I'm not. So it was just on my phone. All right, it came back. All right. So, I mean, that's a real question right there, right? Why is it, like, why is it easier to criminalize a 15-year-old than to hold a 45-year-old accountable for exploiting them? You see where I'm coming from? There's a lot of people out here that use kids, right? To their advantage, right? To exploit them, to get money, right? If we're going to get hard on crime, all right, are we ready to get hard on the people, right, that are in the system that breeds it, that run the system that breeds it, all right? How many adults are walking free while minors sit behind bars for crimes they never they were how can I say, they were coached into, all right? They were thrown into the wolves and everything. Like, is this the country, how can I say, is this the country really, is the country really fed up with the youth, or just fed up with seeing, how can I say, is the country really, fed up with the youth, or is it just fed up with seeing the consequences of neglect? All right. Because what's crazy is I see so many people pinpointing the blame. It's like we're shifting the blame over there, we're shifting the blame over here. But in reality, right? Let's get real serious, right? If a child sat here, right, and broke a window and all that, yeah, that's a parent's responsibility, right? But that's gonna be something that we break down in a minute, all right? We're gonna break that down in a minute, right? It's too many people out here complaining. What messes me up in the head, right, is that even when they do get the resources that they're asking for, they still want to bitch about it. So I hear a lot of people saying that the crime rates in Washington D.C. are not high. I feel as though they are, right? But when you go do your research, right, and you go see, when you go to Google, you go to Siri, you go to Alexa, whoever you go to, right, and you ask, out of all the cities and states, right, what city and state has the most crime rate? And it will tell you that Memphis, Tennessee has the highest overall crime rate among major U.S. cities, according to, a blog post from Safe and Sound Security. Specifically, Memphis has a high rate of both violent and property crimes, while St. Louis, Missouri has the highest violent crime rate per capita, according to Safe and Sound Security. Sound Security. Memphis surpasses it and in overall crimes statistics. All right. What's crazy when you look at it, right? It says that Memphis is at number one. You got St. Louis, Missouri. What does New Mexico got to do with it? Then you got New Mexico, Alaska, and Tennessee. That's crazy. Alaska? I'd never hear about Alaska. That's wild. All right. So I'm just pulling up the facts, right? Then when this just said $29.95. then when you look it up, right, for the statistics in 2025, it still tells you Memphis, Tennessee has the highest murder rate. When you're looking up for the murder rate, not just the crime rate, right? It tells you, right, that Memphis, Tennessee has the highest murder rate among major U.S. cities. And it is reported to have a murder rate of 71.0 per 100,000 residents, according to Safe and Sound Security, while other sources cite slightly different figures. So other cities, and other sites, my bad, it slights the, the percentage, the how can I say, the analytics, right? It's a little slightly different in the figures and the numbers. All right. So the city is constantly ranked high for violent crime, including homicides, robberies, and assaults. All right. St. Louis, Missouri, Baltimore, Maryland, New Orleans, Louisiana, Detroit, Michigan, and Chicago, Illinois. That is crazy. So, according to Trump, the Washington D.C. has the highest crime, the highest murder and crime rate. I feel as though he was probably being a little extra on that, because I feel as though it should be hit on Memphis, Tennessee, if it's like that, because in St. Louis, Missouri, because they're the toppest. They're the ones that have the highest out of all the cities. Shit, I thought Philadelphia and New York was there. I thought Detroit was the. I swear to God that I thought they were going to say Detroit, Michigan was going to be number one, but it's not. Like, that's the craziest part. So it seems that Memphis, Tennessee, and St. Louis, Missouri are the highest, state and cities that have murder and crime rates. But the whole purpose of this live, right, is for us to talk about it, to find improvements, right? So like I was saying earlier, right, everybody want to talk, tough and pinpoint the blame, right? They want to say, oh, it's only the youth doing it, all right? I want to, I want us to take a look at these two clips, and then I'm going to say everything that I got to say, including what I just said and more. Because what's crazy is, right, the first thing we need to do is start taking accountability, right? But we'll get right into that. I want y'all to take a look at this clip right here real quick. I got to leave Trump up there because we're going to watch a little more of his, rally. And y'all more than welcome to, talk, converse with a shorty. Y'all opinions do matter here. We're not here to bash nobody. We're not here to bring nobody down. All right, we're here to talk about it. We're here to have conversations. We're looking for improvement. We're bringing solutions to the table. All right. So now y'all heard that Trump said that the crime rates are getting high in Washington D.C. They're skyrocketing, right? When in reality, I feel as though that Memphis, right, like they said, in Missouri, are the ones that have the highest crime rates. But I don't know if he's trying to, use Washington D.C. as an example, but that should have been done starting with Memphis and Tennessee, if they're the ones with the highest crime and murder rates, right? But let's take a look at this news article, right? And it's from CNN. But CNN is always bad. CNN is always coming at Trump. But this says that Trump takes control of D.C. police, will deploy National Guard, right? And what's crazy, what he thinks about doing on, in Washington, D.C., I feel as though it needs to be done over here, right? I agree with certain people's opinions, right? And to a certain extent. All right, because some people just out of pocket without doing their research want to say, well, we got to do this like this, do that like that. Like, wait. Do your research and then speak with facts. All right? So I want y'all to take, a closer look at this news article. All right?
Kristen, you were at that briefing. This has been something, you're on the campaign trail nonstop. Kristen, you were at that briefing. This has been something, you're on the campaign trail nonstop with Donald Trump during 2024. It's something he talked about, crime in cities constantly, including and especially this one in Washington, D.C., but militarizing United States cities, starting with the District of Columbia, frankly, because it's just easier because of the home rule law. What should we be thinking about, and what are you hearing from your sources in that building behind you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we should look at this as the larger picture, as you're mentioning. I mean, he even talked about New York, Chicago, trying this out in DC, and then he might go to other large cities, talking about crime in those cities. As you mentioned, this is something he talked about a lot on the campaign trail in terms of using federal law enforcement in cities. But we also want to mention that at various times he's walked back this idea of federalizing the law enforcement, putting National Guard into cities. And in fact, I have spoken to a number of people in the DC government who said that they were surprised by this announcement, particularly given that the relationship seemed to be on okay terms between Mayor Muriel Bowser and President Trump. She has been in the Oval Office with him. She has had meetings with him. Their teams are almost in constant touch. It does seem as though this was something that might have blindsided them. Clearly here he is ramping up the rhetoric around this. And two of the things that he said, in addition to obviously saying that the Metropolitan Police Department is going to be under federal law and deploying the National Guard, he said he might deploy active duty military to address crime. He also said that more service members might be going in as guardsmen, all of this to amplify the federal response. And I will tell you, Dana, in one kind of strange part of all of this is that when we sat down in the briefing, they gave us a packet of information to show us some of the arrests that were made over the weekend as this starting to ramp up or increase in federal law enforcement took place. And they were fairly low-level criminals. It was somebody with possession or a DUI at one point. And there were only 5 of them, I believe, listed in this packet. So it's unclear, he's talking about this major escalation in violent crime, but that is not quite clear from the packet of information they gave us here. And of course, I know you're gonna have someone fact check the actual numbers coming out of DC and the Department of Justice, but he has clearly had some sort of an escalation when it comes to this just over the last 3 days. And I was told it was all he talked about all day Saturday were the outrageous crime numbers and how they were going to bring in more federal law enforcement.
All right, Kristen, thank you so much for that. And we are going to now do a deep dive into the fact check, claiming that Washington, D.C. is getting worse. And I want to bring in the one and only Daniel Dale. Daniel.
There was a lot of deception from the president there. So here's a reality check. There is no doubt that D.C. has for decades been a high crime city. It is among the U.S. cities with the highest homicide rates, though there are a bunch of other big cities.
Yeah, it is among some of the cities with the highest crime rate. But as y'all can see, right? Listen, I thought it was going to be Detroit. I'm not going to sit here and lie. But right here, as I'm looking at it, right? Memphis, Tennessee, and how can I say St. Louis, Missouri are the highest in crimes. But I don't have a problem with what he's doing. He should do it everywhere because the police, right, seem not to be able to do their work. But shit, will the guards be any better than the police? You see where I'm coming from? I mean, listen, we'll talk about that in a little bit because it's so many things, right? And people think that it's just the government's fault. No, man, we got to take responsibility on our account too, man, on what we've done, on what we do, on what we push away when we do get the resources. All right? Everybody has a part to play. And a lot of us is fucking up too. I don't just blame them mofos. All right? A lot of us need to get our shit together because our cities should not be looking like this. Our cities should not be this bad. But they are. All right? Now, he may have been exaggerating on the crime rate in Washington, D.C., all right? But something has to be done to bring down the crime rate. Every day we have lives, podcasts, speaking on things, on that we can do or how we can do it. But there's so many people making excuses, right? And we never do nothing. Where the hell is the tab at? There you go.
That are worse. And DC did indeed have a big crime spike in 2023, which is the year the president kept citing. But contrary to what the president said today, even in 2023, DC did not have an all-time high in murder. It was way worse during the crack crisis of the 80s and early 90s. And more pressingly, Dana, the president was just flat wrong when he said it's getting worse now, not getting better. Crime in DC, including murder, has fallen sharply since that 2023 spike. It fell in.
I mean, it may be falling, right, since that strike. Look, 2023 to 2024, 35%. Now it's 26%. Maybe that's in D.C. But when you look at places like New York, Philadelphia, Detroit, right, and stuff like that, the crime rate, like they're saying, oh, it's going down. No, the fuck it's not. It's going up. These kids every day got guns in their fucking hands. And guess what? All the adults blaming the kids, like if these kids got these. No, some way, somehow they found a way to get it. But who helped them get it? How did they get it? Huh? Why was it so easy for them to get these, how can I say, ratchets, pistols, right, in their hands? Come on.
2024, it's fallen further in 2025. So let's look at some of this data. In 2023, DC had its most murders in more than 2 decades, 274. Of course, that's terrible. But it then plunged to 187 murders last year, and it's been falling again so far this year. Through July, according to figures compiled by crime data expert Jeff Asher,
how do we know that's
DC
true?
had 34% fewer murders than it did through the same period in that year, 2023. Now, how about violent crime more broadly? Well, that's also down sharply in the last year and a half. In fact, per Jeff Asher, DC's officially reported violent crime rate in 2024 was the second lowest since 1966, so lower than every year of Trump's first administration. It's about a third of what it was in those bad old days, the early 1990s. And you heard from the president and his team about carjackings. Well, indeed a problem in DC, but what do the numbers say? Again, a big spike in 2023, down since.
I would believe that there is a lot of carjackings in DC. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, no, that he's completely lying on that. No, I believe that rate is high over there. I don't believe the statistics as much because I feel as though they be trying to sugarcoat some shit. I don't know if I'm the only one that, feels like that. All right. But I feel as though they're trying to sugarcoat a lot of shit when it comes with their statistics and stuff like that. But, we got to use them. Right. Because that's what everybody goes to, analytics and statistics. All right. But what's crazy is, right, in Philadelphia, we're going through the same shit. All right, I'm from North Philadelphia. Welcome to Philly, baby. So the crazy part, right, is that you hear the mayor, the governor, everybody talking about, oh, the crime rate is going down. No, it's not. That bitch is spiking up. It's to the point that Philadelphia for the past few years has been known, instead of, the city of brotherly love, it's been known as Philadelphia. That's why, we say, welcome to Philadelphia, a.k.a. Philadelphia. That's what it's known for. The crimes are rising everywhere, and it's time to do something. So I'm not mad that he's doing it this way. Right? The question is, will it help us? What will happen if they have to step in? Is it possible for cities to start getting it together before what he's trying to do happens to your city? You see where I'm coming from? But, I don't think so. We're in an era where motherfuckers got that I don't give a fuck mentality. All right?
Asher noted the 16 carjackings reported in July were the fewest reported
Facts.
in any month.
Facts, Vandy, facts. Yeah, we be going through hell here in Philadelphia, too. This is happening in every city. It's happening everywhere.
See, but what do the numbers say? Again, a big spike in 2023, down.
By the way, blessings, my bad. Blessings, Vondi Gaming. Welcome to the live. I appreciate the support, man. Hope you enjoy the stream, guys. Make sure y'all go check out Vondi Gaming.
Since Asher noted the 16 carjackings reported in July were the fewest reported in any month in more than 5 years in DC, down more than 87% from the same month in 2023. So look, we know crime is an issue in DC. We've lived there. We know that every violent crime is a shame, a tragedy, of course, not excusing any of them. But this isn't an ongoing crime spike like President Trump suggested. And he said it's rising even in the text of the executive order. I went through it. The first section says crime is rising in the capital. That is just not true.
Daniel, thank you so much. Really.
How is it not true? You know what's crazy? Like I said on one of my lives before, right? All these things get isolated. All these situations get isolated. All these topics get isolated. All right? There be mass shootings everywhere, right? But they only, how can I say, put their focus on 2 to 3. That's it. You see where I'm coming from? Like, it be so many things happening, but they only put their focus on 2 or 3. Like, do y'all know how many people lose their lives a day due to guns, due to drunk drivers? You see where I'm coming from? Due to people, how can I say, parking spots? Due to pettiness. The crime is not lowering. It's rising everywhere.
Really appreciate you bringing all of that to us. Really important fact checks. And back here at the table, look, I'm not here to say that, as Daniel just showed with the actual facts and data, that crime is not an issue in this city or other cities across the country. The question is about scope and about the context in which crime is happening now versus what we've seen in the past, versus also the difference between now and the past, which is that you have a president who feels emboldened to use the National Guard and perhaps more active duty military on the streets of this country.
Come
Yeah,
on.
and I think the question where you brought up, why is this happening? This is goal by the potentially bringing in active duty military. And I do think, look, this is clearly an issue that the president has bothered him for some time. Throughout this term in office, just the last couple of months, he hates driving through DC. When I was talking to White House officials, they say because whenever he takes his motorcade and he sees a homeless tent or something like that, it infuriates him further. And yes, he is someone who, by and large, wants to paint himself as a law and
Wait, you've got personal communication with the President of the United States of America? How do we know you're not being biased right now? Man, I don't have nothing against Trump, but it's a good thing what he's doing, right, on some real shit. But we got to go deeper in the questions, all right? We got to talk about it. So once again, right, I'm gonna say it like this, all right? Y'all gonna hear me say this part a lot, all right? Everybody wanna talk tough on crime when it's the youth, but let's be real, all right? It ain't just the youth out here wilding, grown. How can I say grown folks be? How can I say? Whew. Listen. It ain't just grown folks, all right? Oh, we got Gary Busted down in the building, man. It ain't just the youth out here wilding, all right? Grown folks been setting the blueprint, all right? And it ain't the blueprint that our ancestors left behind. We got addicts, all right? Folks battling mental health and the ones, how can I say, pulling the strings behind the scenes. Yeah, them too, all right? So before we start pointing fingers, let's ask, who taught these kids the game? Why is it easier to criminalize a 15-year-old than to hold a 45-year-old accountable for exploiting them? All right. If we're going to get hard on crime, are we ready to get hard on the people that are running the system that's breeding it? All right. Y'all heard what I said? The people running the systems. Let me go slower. All right. If we're going to get hard on crime, are we ready to get hard on the people that are running the systems that breed it? That breed. I hope I'm saying it right. I feel like I'm putting it wrong a little bit. It's not coming out exactly how I have it in my head, and I don't know why. But how many adults, right, are walking free while minors sit behind bars for crimes, right, they were coached into? Is this, how can I say, is the country really fed up with the youth or just fed up with seeing the consequences of neglect? What is y'all really, really fed up with, right? Some folks say we need, how can I say, some folks say we need this crackdown nationwide, and we do. We need this crackdown nationwide. I hear you, all right? But let's not pretend the whole country's fed up with the youth. Some of y'all just fed up with seeing your own reflection in the chaos, all right? And why I'm saying this? On the next clip, y'all going to see why I'm saying this. All right? We talk about justice, but where's the justice for kids born into survival mode? Where's the accountability for adults who use minors like pawns? Where's the healing for families torn apart by addiction, poverty, and untreated trauma? How we expect parents to discipline when the law got them scared to raise their voice? How we going to say be a parent but then pass bills that make parenting feel illegal? How we helping parents who get kids wilding, right? Who got kids wilding out but can't even help them, how can I say, can't even get them therapy, all right, without a HIPAA battle? How, tell me, how we helping parents who got kids wilding, all right, How do we help those parents with kids wilding out, but don't even got them therapy without a HIPAA battle? All right? It's like, listen, let me put it like this, all right? It's like blaming the microwave for the food being trash. Nah, baby. It's the recipe, and some of y'all been cooking dysfunction for generations. All right? So why don't we have community-led intervention squads, real ones, not just folks with clipboards and coffee breath, all right? Why aren't we funding parenting support programs that actually work, not just pamphlets and guilt trips? Why not create safe spaces where parents can get help before the kid becomes a headline? All right. Can we build mentorship programs where older youth help guide younger ones? Peer accountability hits different. All right. And what's crazy is, right, all this right here, every conversation that I hear about what Trump is doing, every single adult that I hear talking about this, whether they're complaining, right, or not complaining, whether they agree with it, right, they're all pointing the finger at the kids. Oh, the kids are the reason why the crimes are rising. The kids' fault, the kids' fault, the kids' fault. Motherfucker, did you take a good look in the mirror today? Did you analyze your past, your present? Did you figure out why your child is out here wilding? We'll get to that in a little bit.
Order president. He also repeatedly this year has gone farther than in his first term in testing the boundaries of his executive authority. And so we're kind of seeing that all come together. The question is why now? And it's one we don't really have an answer for. And to see him standing up and taking questions for the better part over an hour really on this, it is remarkable, but it's still unclear why he's choosing this moment to move forward with this.
I would say, though, that although it is a...
All right. So we're gonna leave that right there, and we're gonna get into, I like watching these three young men. I'm not gonna say young; they're probably around my age. All right. They're called the Cartier family. All right. And what's crazy is, right, we're gonna skim through their video. All right, we're not gonna play the whole thing. We're gonna skip through their video. So we definitely gonna skim through their video, all right? Because what's crazy, they are another, they're another group of can I say podcasters? Yeah, they're podcasters because they definitely doing podcasting, right? They're another group, right? Why I'm pointing this out, because it's three men, right? Three men. I don't know if they're in relationships or not, right? That I've noticed are on here, right? Just pointing the blame on the kids too. I'm sitting here like, really? Three grown men pinning the blame on just the kids. Like it's just the kids out here wilding. We got Gary Buzzy Down Brown in the building, yo. Guys, before we get started, all right, let me show y'all real quick. All right, exclamation mark. Gary sleeps. And y'all will get the link to Gary's YouTube channel. All right. Exclamation, Gary Sports. Y'all will get the link to Gary's Sports channel. All right. So make sure y'all go check out Gary's, both of Gary's channels. All right. His sports channel and his main channel, where he brings the positive topics like this and more, right? And he gets philosophical with it, like the word. All right, this is my OG right here. I love the way he breaks things down. He is one of the people that have sat here and inspired and motivated a shorty, on the way she's speaking now. All right, because it's not what we say, it's how we say it. It's not what we do, it's how we do it. All right, and even though I knew this already, what's crazy is he broke this shit down, and I was like, what's crazy? You're telling me something I know. But the way you have broken it down is like my grandfather, speaking to me. He's like, yo, ven aquí, siéntate. Vamos a hablar un momento. Tengo una historia para contarte. Right? Like on some real shit. And it's like, wait. I keep saying it to myself, right? It's not what you're saying. It's how you saying it, but I keep doing it. And I had to find different ways, right, to sit here. And one of the ways is like, listen, Ray, you like writing. Start taking notes of what you want to talk about so you don't be all over the place, and you don't confuse people. So I gotta, sit here, give this man his props, man, because he's helped the shorty grow a lot here on social media. And what's crazy, he's a dinosaur, man. He don't know how to use this app as much as I do, but his conversations and his guidance has helped the shorty out. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. So I appreciate you, OG, man, and thank you so much for your support, man. Real shit. And guys, the link is down there. The link is down below for those of you that want to go check him out. All right. So let's get into this next clip, all right, that I want to show y'all. All right. So their video says Trump just declared war on black fatigue. Do y'all believe that he declared war on black fatigue? What is y'all opinions on this? All right. And I'm going to give y'all like a minute or two. All right. If I don't get a response within, a minute in the chat, I'm going to continue. But it's true. Do y'all believe that he is declaring war on black fatigue, or do y'all believe that Trump is trying to fix what has been messed up, what has been broken, what we sit here and say has been broken? All right, so let's play the video.
And homeless people.
So as y'all can see, we played a little bit of this. Blessings, blessings. We got Hassan Tierra show, guys. Make sure y'all go check him out. All right, great conversations, great topics. But we played this earlier, but we're gonna play it again.
Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs and homeless people. And we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it. Just like we did on our southern border. Nobody comes to our southern border anymore. 3 months in a row, we had zero. I don't know if that's right, but rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States. I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control. And you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that.
And I don't think this is the first time I've heard him say stuff like this, because I remember one time where he said he wanted to deploy the guards to Philadelphia. I swear to God, like I'm sitting here like, oh shit, is that bad? I think it was when he almost got was it the second time? It was when he came to Philly, he almost got assassinated. All right. So shit. And them guards have been here. So I mean, listen, people don't even peep. Do y'all know there's parts in y'all cities that y'all got guards already deployed on there? I mean, listen, that's a topic for another live, man. We talked about it before and we broke it down, but I think it's time to bring it back. It's time to bring it back. All right. So this is not something new. I think he's just going to get harsher with it. So now the guards are going to take over. Everything's going to be federal, right? So the question is, right, if the police turn federal, would it benefit our communities? You see, because these police are assholes already. Shout out to the good police out there that that, how can I say, love their job and are actually here to help and do what they got to do. But we got too many corrupt officers, yo. We got my OG. Straight Godzilla 22 in the building. Big shout out to Straight Godzilla 22. Make sure y'all check him out. Man, let me give him a wrench because I gotta make it. I'm about to make it in a minute, but I'm a little caught up on this. But let me make him a mod so he can leave his link down below. This got mixed up when I was fixing the stream elements. He was already a moderator. All right, so shout out to my OG. What did Gary say before I play the video? Wow, he has the power to do so. DC isn't a state, it's a district. Let me leave that right there for the chat to see oh no, it didn't do it. There you go. Woo, let me let that sit there with y'all for a second, all right? Shout out to Gary Bust It Down, yo. Whoa, peep that shit. He said, wow, he has the power to do so. DC isn't a state, it's a district. Guys, so we're going to go a little bit more up. Well, you know what? I want him to finish this.
Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening. They've done it before. In addition, deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. And you people are victims of it, too. You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed. And you all know people and friends of yours that happened.
Yo, did the bull just look at him like that? Hold up, wait a minute. Look at the guy. Watch. Pay attention to this guy right here when he says that.
People are victims of it, too.
Look.
You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed.
Yo,
and
his
you all
face.
know people and friends of yours that happened. And so you can be anything you want, but you want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go into a store to buy a newspaper or buy something. And you don't have that now. The murder rate in Washington today is higher than that of Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City, some of the places that you hear about as being.
And I'm going to pause it right there because like I read earlier, right? Memphis, Tennessee is the city that has the most crimes and murder rates. All right. Then you got St. Louis, Missouri. All right. So these are the two cities that have the most highest crime and murder rates. All right. And I feel as though what he's doing is good. Yes. All right. Because nothing has been working so far. Y'all tell me what has worked so far. Because the crime rate, once again, and I feel like I'm fucking repeating myself. I sound like a tape recorder on replay. Like, but the crime rates are high everywhere on some real shit. They keep saying it's lowering, but it's not. Even here in Philadelphia, it's skyrocketing. And you know what's crazy? Y'all blaming these kids, right? Oh, it's the kids' fault. But who taught them the game? Who taught these kids the game? Let's go a little further on his video. Let's listen to this. Yes, commercials. I got two of you? Oh no, I gotta go to my premium.
An unbelievable amount of assets being thrown at this. You have Metro, Transit, Capitol Police, and multiple federal officials. I've seen FBI, I've seen HSI, I've seen other kinds of park police in the area. They are throwing a massive amount for this specific incident here. It's very obvious that the city has taken a slightly different posture going forwards.
So all this is happening in Washington, D.C. They're just showing little clips, right? It's happening in places like New York. Gary is from New York, right? Gary, tell me this is not something that, well, I don't know if you ride the bus, but I see it sometimes here. I mean, I don't know if you ride the train or the bus or anything like that, but I see it happen sometimes here in Philadelphia a lot, all right? Sometimes I don't witness it. Sometimes I have a friend that's on the bus and is riding and just recording to their Instagram or their Snapchat, right? Or they TikTok what happened on a bus ride or on a train ride. Man, I am fortunate enough to not experience or go through all this. Now, I do complain about the smell on the bus. That's why I like riding the train on some real shit, because I'm talking about the people. Like, it's lesser people on the train than what there is on the bus here in Philly, all right? So a lot of people do get on the bus more than what they get on the train. So I don't like being around a lot of people, and then buses get so crowded, and I don't like smelling people's odors. Like, it should be illegal to fucking stink. It should be illegal to smell like ass butt juice outside on some real shit. But anyways, this is stuff that happens, you know, a lot throughout the train stations and buses. I mean, I know it happens a lot here in Philadelphia. I know it happens a lot in New York. I don't know if it happens a lot, you know, in Detroit, Memphis, in other places like that. I, without a doubt, I know it happens in Atlanta. And I don't know how Atlanta is not number one on the crime rate. I mean, it's not near, the high crime rate with Memphis and Tennessee though, on some real shit. See, this is the fucked up part about analytics, because I feel as though that the majority of these cities, the crime and the murder rate are around the same. I don't know if y'all understand what I'm trying to say by that. See where I'm coming from? And I'm not being extra about it, and I'm not being biased. I'm just telling y'all from what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what I'm researching, and what I'm learning. Fuck these analytics they want to keep showing us. If y'all want to be real about that shit, go search up analytics. You're going to see a few different ones. But anyways, let's go.
Snitch, I'm a crush on your ass.
I wasn't snitching.
Snitch, I'm a crush.
Dude, I wasn't snitching. Dude, get him. Dude, I wasn't snitching. I was just talking about something else. Dude, I wasn't gonna snitch. I'm sorry. I wasn't snitching.
I'm talking. Sit down, if I take your phone. Okay, give me the phone. Bro. Give me the phone, bro. Give me the phone.
Stop it. Give him my jacket back. Get after him.
You considering taking
That shit is wild. All right. And that happens a lot. All right. I know that it happens a lot here in New York and Philadelphia. I mean, in Philadelphia and in New York. Listen, and Gary just said, and really here, there's more than train riders than bus riders, right? And that's true, because listen, in Philadelphia, you got that one train. It's unless you're riding on top, but the subway is one. You got the one on Broad Street, right? Then you got the one on Kensington that you ride up to leave out, from place to place. So there's not many ways to catch the train in Philadelphia. I'm not going to sit here and lie. But in New York, yes. So Gary is right. Crime is one thing, murder is another. And what's crazy is that all these cities, right, both the crime and murder, that's why I gave out the statistics, on both. I gave the analytics and the statistics on both, right? And it shows that Memphis, Tennessee, and St. Louis, Missouri, right, has the highest violent crime and murder crimes, right, per capita, according, right, to the Sound Security Memphis, according to Sound Security, and that's just one website. So the analytics and the statistics are different according to different, how can I say, resources. I'm hoping I'm saying the word right, because I don't want to confuse nobody, all right? That's the crazy part about it. But let's listen to this.
Are you considering taking over the DC police? Is that an option on the table?
We're considering it, yeah. The crime is ridiculous. I could show you a chart comparing DC to other locations, and you're not going to want to see what it looks like. Now, we want to have a great, safe capital, and we're going to have it. And that includes cleanliness, and it includes other things. We have a capital that's very unsafe. We just almost lost a young man, beautiful, handsome guy that got the hell knocked out of him the night before last. And I'm going to call him now. We wanted to give him a little recovery time. We just put a call into him. They're calling back in a little while, but he went through a bad situation, put it mildly, and there's too much of it. We're going to do something about it. So whether you call it federalized or what, and that also includes the graffiti that you see, the papers all over the place, the roads that are in bad shape, the medians that are falling down, the median in between roads that's falling down. We're going to beautify the city. We're going to make it beautiful. And
is it possible for Trump to do that? And if it's possible, why not do this nationwide? It needs to be done everywhere. Gary says, here's a question. If there wasn't poverty as a class or whatever, how much crime would exist? And that's a good question. Let's find out. I want to copy that. I got to copy that question real quick. Where are we at? Over here. Let's find out. I'm about to find out. Google. Well, my bad. Gemini. What's up, buddy? Come on. It's time to put you to work. Come on, co-pilot. All right, if poverty as a defining social kind of okay, it's a social economic character characteristic characteristic. All right, damn, I can't pronounce the word. I got tongue twisted. Were eliminated. It would likely lead if poverty as a defining social economic characteristic were eliminated. It would likely lead to a substantial reduction in crime. Oh, it says it would. Oh, it said it would reduce the crime, particularly for those offenses often linked to economic hardship. However, it's crucial to understand that crime will not disappear entirely because other factors also contribute to criminal behavior. Here's a breakdown of how the presence of poverty and its potential absence relate to crimes. Wow, that's a long ass breakdown. Okay, so let's get started. Poverty can create economic desperation, pushing individuals towards crime as a means of survival to meet basic needs like food, shelter, and health, according to the Northwest Career College. All right, it often leads to insufficient educational and employment opportunities, making legitimate pathways to success less accessible and increasing the appeal of criminal activities. Okay. Poverty can result in social isolation, lack of community resources, and exposure to high crime environments, weakening community bonds and support systems. The psychological and health impacts of poverty, such as high, how can I say, high tended stress, mental health challenges, and substance abuse, can further increase the risk of criminal behavior. Structural inequalities and discrimination based on race, gender, and social economic status, often linked to poverty, can further exacerbate the connection between poverty and crime. Research indicates a significant correlation between poverty and violent crimes rate studies crimes crime rates. Studies show that individuals, I sound so stupid reading right now. I apologize. It's the letters are so small. Listen, I do not belong in special ed right now. It's just, fuck it. Man, I'm in special ed today. All right. So y'all gonna get it how it comes. I can't hardly see these words. Studies Studies show that individuals in poor households have higher rates of violent victimization, including those involving weapons. Poverty is also a factor in certain property crimes like burglary, and motor vehicle theft. All right, other factors contributing to crime even without poverty: psychological and mental health issues. Mental illness, substance abuse, and personality disorders can contribute to criminal behavior, regardless of social economic status. And that's something that we'll have to deal with and learn how to, work. Social and cultural factors, peer influence, family dynamics, social disorganization, and cultural norms can play a role in criminal behavior. Doesn't that happen because of poverty, though? Anyways, hate and bias, crimes motivated by prejudice against race, religion, sexual orientation, etc., are driven by factors beyond poverty, according to EBSCO, whatever that means. All right, and impulsivity and lack of self-control, factors related to individual temperaments and the ability to control impulses can contribute to criminal behavior. Thrill-seeking and power dynamics. Some crimes, including hate crimes, are motivated by the desire of excellent power and to intimidate or harm others. Oof. In essence, eradicating. All right. In essence, eradicating poverty would remove a significant driver of certain types of crime, especially those linked to economic hardship and desperation. It would likely lead to a safer society overall by reducing stress, increasing opportunities, and fostering stronger communities. However, human behavior is complex and other factors will still contribute to crime even in a society without poverty. Addressing these factors such as mental health issues, right, social inequalities, and cultural bias would remain essential for a truly crime-free society, if such a thing were even possible. So do y'all believe? Damn, I wonder if it's possible. I wonder. But, I just had to put that out there. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, like I was reading, like if I was in an LD class, all right, I don't have a learning disability. Sometimes I could be a little slow, all right. I'm supposed to be wearing glasses, but I don't like wearing glasses. Listen, for some reason, when I wear glasses, I get too much attention, and I hate that shit. I really hate it. And I hate my glasses. Like, sometimes they give me a headache. So I refuse to wear glasses. I was supposed to lose my eyesight when I was 15. That doctor lied to me, all right? All I got left of is just that lazy eye. Bitch ass doctor. They just want to make money off of you. That's what it is. Well, I still got an eyesight, all right? I still got an eyesight. No matter how many carrots I eat, it doesn't better it. Weirdos. But let's go.
What a shame. The rate of crime, the rate of muggings, killings, and everything else, we're not going to let it. And that includes bringing in the National Guard, maybe very quickly, too.
Yeah, I don't see the problem here.
Well, I don't see the problem with him bringing the National Guards if the police can't do the job they're supposed to be doing, right? So I would like to get y'all input on it. What do y'all think, right? Like, I know that a lot of people have come on here and say, oh, I don't agree for such and such reason. Others say, I do agree for such and such. Others are like, I don't know about it. So they're like stuck in between. Me, I feel as though, shit, do it nationwide. But what are the consequences behind it? Will this even, like, I've heard some people say that this could also, be the beginning of them trying to put that martial law in. I mean, they've been trying to do that shit for the longest, though. You see where I'm coming from? And if we keep behaving the way we're behaving, right, with these riots and these bullshit, tearing down our communities, Lord have mercy, it's coming, whether we like it or not. People keep thinking the Jetsons is coming. Nah, man, we in the Jetsons.
Bringing in the National Guard, maybe very quickly, too.
Yeah, I don't see the problem here. This Capitol, where all the politicians and stuff goes down, you'd think there would be some rules and some regulations there. But you still got people getting mugged. You still got high crime. You still got all these same problems that we seen in cities with the rest of us. So, I mean, it's got to start from the top down. If that's where they at, and they can get some law and order out there, maybe we'll see some trickle down and see other.
I mean, listen, it starts within a home, then within our communities. You see where I'm coming from? Like, but we're so divided, we can't see that.
The states start locking in as well.
Other states ain't gonna lock me in when you got California. You got a state like California, I think it's over with, man.
Yeah, well.
4 warning signs you are a witch by blood. We know exactly when witches
are I gotta get rid of this.
There are 12 witch archetypes.
That's just California. We ain't got to worry about California. We got to worry about the states where we at.
Yeah, I don't see how anyone could be opposed to this. Why would you not want crime to be stopped in a city?
7:56. That's the timestamp. All right. Yeah. Cause I can't with these ads. Y'all giving me ads every 2 minutes. No, man. I pay for YouTube. Let's go.
Our capital
out there, maybe
could be opposed to this. Why?
What did Gary say? Gary said, this is why we try to tell you, if you are rich in the mind, you won't have powerish tactics. Real shit.
The city, unless you're a criminal.
Some days I feel unsafe going outside.
Dang.
Recent shocking acts of violence have some on alert. A recent fatal drive-by shooting, along with a carjacking and beating in this neighborhood near U Street.
Which is insane. I mean, I just live a block this way, so to know that I'm so close to something like that is really
Are they, listen, when the news reporters go out here, do they go to the richer areas where they got more police officers and stuff like that, right? Because they act like they're so surprised when it hits their little, community, their block or something. Like, listen, dude, we've been through it. You know how many times I've been on a live shootings have happened? I was on a live one day. We was vibing, we was talking, we was, bringing awareness to so many things, right? And I had to bring somebody in my crib injured during the live. And I don't know what made me, listen, I got out of character. It's like if I didn't even fucking experience it. You see what, like, if I've never been through it. For the first time, I was like, if I was shocked, I didn't, like, you know, but I did what I had to do. You see where I'm coming from? But it was like, dude, like, what the fuck? But no, man, we're not shocked when this shit happens. This is something that happens every day. Philadelphia, New York, Tennessee, Memphis, Detroit, Atlanta. I mean, I can keep going with the places, right? Like, you walk outside and there's a drive-by shooting. You walk outside, there's a chick down the street throwing her man out with all his clothes and then taking him back tomorrow. You walk outside, there's a crackhead in the corner right with a heroin addict over there. You walk outside, there's somebody stripping in the other corner. Like, you walk outside, the crime is everywhere. Everywhere. It's just that we're so used to it. Some want to make a difference, others don't give a fuck.
Terrifying.
So we asked residents what they think city leaders should do immediately to improve safety.
I feel like it's still very
Lock their
dark.
ass John Roeder says more functioning streetlights would help.
More streetlights, brighter streetlights.
No.
Which sounds like so easy and simple, but I don't think we have enough of those.
For Cameron Talley, hearing about violence steps from her home.
Oh my word. Right here,
Brings back memories from a year ago.
we got caught in the middle of a drive-by shooting. So that was horrible.
Talley says this city should consider installing blue light emergency phones, seen often on college campuses.
Oh,
I mean, they should do that everywhere. I know there's something they've been doing in Philadelphia for a while, and I feel as though every city should do it. You see where I'm coming from? Instead of funding all these parties and shit like that, let's fix our cities first, all right? Like, I do notice that in Philadelphia, they've put cameras in every pole, all right? And I know that I got to make a petition. I got to go to City Hall, but I need my community to come together too, all right, to see if we can get like dumpsters within the blocks, right, to keep the streets clean. If we can get more lights up, you know, I'm not saying lights, like she was saying, like little emergency things around. Like, we need to do something. So I got the ideas. The problem is, you know, it's not easy getting people together, right? Somebody is always one person in the crowd that would sit here, right, and try to get others to be like, oh, that ain't gonna work. Oh, why are we wasting our time doing this? But you were just complaining. And when then we make something work, when we accomplish it, they're even more madder. It's like if they wish they would have had the idea, but they said fuck it and went on with their business, but somebody made it happen, like, oh shit. Like, yeah, now you regret it, and your regret is, you know, creating guilt in your head now on some real shit.
See a blue light, I can get to it and call for help.
For Dana Richardson, the quickest path to peace on city streets.
I think they need to do more about the juvenile crime.
He believes young people caught in the criminal justice system need the deterrent of jail time and not freedom while awaiting their fate.
I think it's because they keep on letting them go. No deterrent.
I got the solution, y'all.
Bro was right.
I got the #1 solution.
What?
Cameras. Lock their ass up, bro.
There's cameras everywhere. It's just, listen, people, I don't know where they're from, what city they're from. I don't know if it says it here, right? Let me see. I know they said it before, but I forgot. They might say it here. But here in Philadelphia, we're full of cameras. We're full of cameras. Listen, they got cameras everywhere. When I get a chance to go live outside later on today, if I do get a chance, I'm gonna show y'all, right? And I'm gonna point at every camera there is in every pole, all right? I'm gonna go like in a square around my community, all right, so that y'all can see that there are cameras in every pole outside. And guess who owns them? The police districts. Same way that in the highways there's cameras. Listen, we're full of cameras. We just don't know it. That's why I ask a lot, like, with all these cameras outside, when somebody commits a murder or a crime, y'all telling me it's that hard for y'all to catch them? Y'all got the camera, or y'all camera's not working right now?
Yeah, but they got to get a sentence, you know, even if they're young. Like, if you're violent, you know, give them. If he's 14, give him 5, 6.
Nah,
1920.
If they commit a
he'll
murder,
learn. No, not for murder. I'm talking about for a robbery.
They're talking about the kids. If a kid commits a robbery or something, he's saying give him 5 or 10. And you know what's funny, right? Once again, this is why I was saying what I was saying earlier, all right? As crazy as it sounds, Gary says, before I say what I say, Gary says, stop taking away from the poor and add to them, all right? And sensitive people that want to work, people that want to work with the kids after school. Parents, get involved with your kids learning instead of YouTube teaching. And that's some real shit right there. But I think I misread his word, and that's because it's so tiny. It's even tinier on my phone. All right, but yeah, man. Like, let me hear what he said again real quick, because I think he was talking about the kids. Let me see.
Here
brings back memories from a year ago.
we got caught in the middle of a drive-by shooting.
Shut up. Seen often on college campuses.
Oh, I see a blue light. I can get to it and call for help.
For Dana Richardson, the quickest path young people caught in the criminal justice system need the deterrent of jail time and not freedom while awaiting their fate.
I think it's because they keep on letting them go. No deterrent.
I got the solution, y'all.
Bro was right.
I got the #1 solution. Cameras, lock their ass up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they got to get a sentence, even if they're young. Like, if you're violent, give him, if he's 14, give him 5.
They got it. Okay, see, he's not being biased. He said even if they're young. So he's not just pointing the finger at the adults. He's also bringing in the children. All right. He said even if they're young, give them maybe 5. 5. Let's see. I don't know. I wouldn't say 15 years. Goddamn, for a robbery, 15 years. Man, teach them the lesson. If they don't get it the first time, I don't know. But we had a conversation about this before, right? Where we talked about, the consequences that the children should have behind, when a child does something, right? And I feel as though the child is 13, 14, right? But it's crazy that the HIPAA law takes a lot away from the parent. Crazy as shit. People don't understand that part. But if a child, like a parent should sit here and be able to, I forgot what it was called. Put them I think it's called criminal walk. Is it called a criminal walk? I forgot what it was called, where, damn, I can't even think of the word right now, man. This shit is crazy, man. See, when you want to say something, the words won't come out. Ain't that something? But we've talked about it, right? About these consequences, right? And listen, I feel as though that the parents should have should be able to have the right, right? But according to some people, it's called bullying your child or abuse, right? There you go. It's called a perp walk. The parents should be able to put their child through a perp walk. Like, what's the problem? Like, listen, it shouldn't be online. But if your child does something outside, yeah, man, put him in front of an officer. Put some fear in them if they start doing some shit like that. Listen, parents when I was younger used to do that. The parents now, they don't do that no more at all. You see where I'm coming from? But they want to walk their kid around with a motherfucking leash around their neck. You see where I'm coming from? I feel as though the parents should be able to give their kid a perp walk. They fuck up, it's on them. They did it in public. They wasn't embarrassed, right? They wasn't feeling no type of way when they was doing what they was doing, when they was committing the crime. Nah, let them know this is what the fuck is going to happen. You see where I'm coming from? And we've had conversations, right? That if parents should, how can I say, do you bail your child, right, if he commits a crime real bad? Or, you back your child up if he commits a crime like robbery and stuff like that. Do you let them learn their lesson in jail? I feel as though, all right, I don't know. I'm a, back my son up the first time. He fucks up the second time, you got to learn your lesson. Because, 3 strikes, you're out in a baseball game. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I would love to get more input. I would love to get, how y'all feel, what y'all think about, when it comes to this situation. Because for some reason, a lot of people are just saying that the kids are the reason that these crimes are rising, like the adults ain't the ones that set the blueprint for them. And it ain't the one that our ancestors left behind.
6.
Nah,
1920.
If they commit a
He'll
murder,
learn. No, not for murder. I'm talking about for a robbery. If you commit murder, you got life.
or they're
I don't
shooting
care.
in the streets.
Well, you remember what I said. If you do murder, you should be deported.
Deported where?
I do think he's right. The juvenile crime is a problem, and like,
Wait a minute, deported where? Where you deporting people to? You listen, they from here, they from here. What you deporting them to their own country? They from the motherfucking Americas. Like, I don't even know how that just came out, but it came out fucking staying like that. What? Deport them where? Where are you going to deport an American to? America? They're in America.
they keep like, oh, they're juveniles. When I was in school and I knew if I was going to get in trouble and I wasn't going to get punished for what I got in trouble for, I'm going to do it. Who's going to stop me? No one's. There's nothing being done.
And they know.
Nothing being done. There's no.
And that's why I just said, right? Listen to what he said when he was younger, right? He used to get punished. All this, right? Parents don't do that no more. But why? Why? I just gave y'all. Listen, I just gave you a whole message about that. All right? Like, what's crazy is, right, we talk about justice, but where's the justice for kids born into survival mode? Where's the accountability for adults who use minors like pawns? Where's the healing for families torn apart by, how can I say, addiction, poverty, and untreated trauma? How we expect parents to discipline when the law got them scared to raise their voice? How we going to say, be a parent, but they then pass bills that make parenting feel illegal? How we helping parents who got kids wilding out, but can't even get them therapy without a HIPAA battle? All right? Let's be real. It's like blaming, like I said it earlier, it's like blaming the microwave for the food being trash. Nah, baby. It's the recipe. And some of y'all been cooking dysfunction for generations and generations. All right? Why don't we have community-led intervention squads? Real ones, not just folks with clipboards and coffee breath. All right? Once again, why aren't we funding parenting support programs that actually work, not just pamphlets and guilt trips? Why not create safe spaces where parents can get help before their kid becomes a headline? Can we build mentorship programs where older youth, right, help guide younger ones? Peer accountability hits very different.
No consequences to my actions. I'm gonna get a slap on the wrist. Oh no, you can't. I was in school and I knew if I was gonna get in trouble and I wasn't gonna get punished for what I got in trouble for, I'm gonna do it. Who's gonna stop me? No one's. There's nothing being done.
And
there's nothing being done. There's no consequences to my actions. I'm gonna get a slap on the wrist. Oh no, you can't do that. Okay.
No, you know what really be happening? It be older people that tell these younger people that they're not gonna get in trouble. And then they make them do it so they don't get charged really for it. That's literally what be happening in the majority of the cases.
Listen, then aren't they kind of like proving my point? Do y'all not hear them prove my point? They is proving my point, everything that I've said so far. They proved each one.
I think there has to be some deterrent for these kids. I think if putting them in jail is what the residents feel, and that's what it is, bro. Because it's destroying these cities. Our cities are not safe. There's too much danger. There's too much crime, and people should be able to feel safe where they pay to live. We just have
I agree with them. Right there on that part, I agree. See, on that little portion, I agree with them.
To be tougher on crimes, like, see, it worked for El Salvador.
Yeah, it changed immediately.
I was going to tell you right now, the plight of American hero Big Balls has set off a firestorm in the Republican Party. This kid.
No, he
goes out on the street.
Just infiltrated all of our information.
He protects a woman from being attacked by a roving street gang, and he had the crap kicked out of him. And, we had a congressional intern murdered not too long ago. I'm just telling you, Republicans right now have about had it with the violence and the idea that you can't even walk around D.C. right now without getting attacked by street gangs.
Don't we have laws on the books already?
400
It's interesting that him saying that we're tired of seeing violent crimes in cities and people have an adverse reaction to that. How? Like what do you guys say? Oh yeah, there's laws on the books. Woo, cool, but it's not being enforced.
Whoa. It's bright right there.
Is that thunder?
That was lightning for sure.
God,
the other side must be storming.
It
That's look, we see blue.
Yeah, that's
kind of like something blew up.
It's insane. Okay. Nah, but yeah, I just don't see how any person can want crime. It's almost like if you are against being hard on crime, then to me, you're kind of for crime.
But by him being beat up.
It's interesting. It's interesting that people keep saying they're stealing our information because just because we know who sees our information now, they're stealing it. But before, we have no idea who's stealing it or who sees the information. And people seem to be okay with the fact
they confused me. I got to go back a little bit.
Crime. It's almost like if you are.
I'm sorry.
It's insane. Okay. Nah, but yeah, I just don't see how any person can want crime. It's almost like if you are against being hard on crime, then to me, you're kind of for crime.
But you gotta look at these people logic. The lady, soon as Scott said that, the lady said, well, he's stealing our information. So he's justified. She justified him being beat up.
It's interesting. It's interesting that people keep saying they're still.
Give me that soda in the
should be able to
fridge,
feel safe where they pay to live.
We just have to be tougher on crimes. Like, see, it worked for El Salvador.
Yeah, it changed immediately.
I'm just going to tell you right now, the plight of American hero Big Balls.
We do have to get tougher on crimes, right? But how do we start with that? And I feel as though we start by stop pinpointing the fingers and start taking accountability. You see where I'm coming from?
Has set off a firestorm in the Republican Party. This kid,
No, he
goes out on the street.
Just infiltrated all of our
He protects
information.
a woman from being attacked by a roving street gang, and he had the crap kicked out of him. And, we had a congressional intern murdered not too long ago. I'm just telling you, Republicans right now have about had it with the violence and the idea that you can't walk around D.C. right now without getting attacked by street gangs.
Don't we have laws on the books already?
400 carjackings, they're not being enforced.
It's interesting that him saying that we're tired of seeing violent crimes in cities and people have an adverse reaction to that.
How?
Like what do you guys say? Oh yeah, there's laws on the books. Woo, cool, but it's not being enforced.
Whoa.
And yeah, that's true. There are laws on the books that are not being enforced. We got corrupt cops, we got corrupt teachers, we got corrupt politicians. See, now we have to figure out how to get rid of that. How do we get rid of the bad apples? You see, because one bad apple, right? If you put one bad apple in a bunch of good apples, what happens? The mold on that apple is going to start passing to the others, and it spreads like a virus.
It's bright right there.
Is that thunder?
That was lightning.
Shut up.
We see blue.
Yeah, that's kind of like something blew up.
It's insane. Okay. Nah, but yeah, I just don't see how any person can want crime. It's almost like if you are against being hard on crime, then to me, you're kind of for crime.
But you gotta look at these people logic. The lady, soon as Scott said that, the lady said, well, he's stealing our information. So he's justified. She justified him being beat up.
It's interesting. It's interesting that people keep saying they're stealing our information because just because we know who sees our information now, they're stealing it. But before, we have no idea who's stealing it or who sees the information. And people seem to be okay with the fact that we don't know who sees our information because they're hired by that entity or the people who oversee that information. But at the end of the day, we still don't know who sees that information. So now that we got this kid who can see the same information that people we did know see, it's a problem. Like, I don't see that.
No, and literally, I forgot who said it. I think it was Elon or somebody when all the Doge stuff was happening and everyone was talking about it. That same exact database that they're complaining about, Joe Biden gave college students access to also.
Oh, I know what they're talking about now. They started talking in code for a second. I was like, what the hell just happened? Okay. It's the data system that all these social media platforms are using. And that's true. Like, people keep forgetting, like, man, listen, America's the biggest bully, all right? Shh.
No one complained then at all. It's not, Todd said it a long time ago. It's not the what, it's the who.
You know what Trump need? He need a black speaker so he can say all the radical things.
Without getting, need to get Byron up there, let him Wesley up there, let him raw him out.
Charles.
He got a black speaker, but nobody like her. You know, Candace Owens has always, you know, been on Trump's side in a way. I'm not saying that, you know, she's Team Trump. What I'm saying is that, you know, she's always, you know, spoken up for his bill and all that shit. So, I mean, having a black speaker isn't going to change the people's opinions or thoughts.
Hire Charleston White, man.
An unusual group of bank robbers is behind bars in Houston. They're being called the Little Rascals.
The Little
That's because they're
Rascals.
just 11, 12, and 16 years old.
5 people ranging in age from 12 to 16 are under arrest for a one-night crime spree with 6 different victims. This started Friday night in the U of M area when a man was robbed at gunpoint. Police say the kids then stole a car near East High School, robbed a man in his driveway on Bayless, and then headed to Midtown.
You're looking at a group of teenagers caught on camera terrorizing this neighborhood. And they don't even live over here. Whitney Fraser says they're anywhere from 10 to 14 years old, going around breaking into cars, threatening and robbing people.
I gotta keep it 100, man. If someone was to pull a gun on one of these kids and shoot and kill them, I wouldn't protest.
No, if you point a gun at someone, if you old enough to point a gun at someone, you old enough to get hit with one.
And that's a conversation that we've had before, right? What should be the consequences, right, for these for the youth, right, that are sitting here pulling, you know, pistols out on people? Do we blame the parents? Do they take full, you know, accountability? Should they take the full consequence for their actions, right? And, you know, shout out to the word, right? For those of y'all that don't know who the word is, if you hit exclamation word down below, you will get the link to the word's channel. If you hit exclamation petty vision, right, you will get his second channel. All right, guys. So make sure y'all go check out the word. All right, these are conversations that he breaks down in a philosophical way. All right. Oh, something happened with my petty vision. Did I spell it wrong? Oh, yes, I did spell it wrong. See, when I get a mod down there, right, if y'all get a chance, can y'all do the exclamations for me so that way everybody's channels could be put down? But yeah, my bad. Back on this. All right, we talked about what should be the consequences about behind the youth. What did Gary say? Gary said something. Wait, those little kids are pulling out guns? Yeah, I mean, yes, Gary, there's kids out here really, really young. All right, I'm gonna play a little more of this video, right, and then I'm gonna say what I gotta say. I'm gonna drop the link for anybody that wants to come up and give their input. Y'all more than welcome. The link is going to be in the chat down below. All right, let me finish first, guys. Anybody that's coming through, all right, anybody that's been watching, let me finish first, you know, doing this. All right, then y'all can come up. I'll let y'all know when y'all can come up, but let me drop the link right now for anybody that wishes to come up after I'm done giving my commentary. All right, because this is wild. This is really, really wild. All right, Gary, if you put exclamation Gary sleeps and exclamation Gary sports, your channels will pop up too. If you put exclamation David Banner, y'all will get mouthpiece channel. All right, I'll put the exclamations in a minute as I start chatting. I mean, as you know, if somebody does come up when I'm done giving my commentary to speak and give, you know, their opinion, their input. All right, come up for a few minutes and stuff like that. Give up their input. Like if people do come up, listen, right, unless you're somebody that's been on the panel, I would like, you know, appreciate it if y'all come up, give y'all input, like, you know, 5 minutes, you know, so that way, you know, we can get to start knowing each other and not keep it so long, whereas then I'm going to end up having an 8-hour live, all right, guys, because it's the weekday, all right? But unless you are a regular, right, let's keep it like 5-minute, 10-minute conversation. But in a minute, I'll put everybody's, yes, Gary Sleeps is your main channel. And then you got Gary Sports. All right. But yeah, let's have these conversations. These conversations do matter. All right. They're needed within our communities. All right. Within our conversations here on social media, because so many people have forgotten the blueprint. we've talked about what type of consequences, right, should there be for kids that commit crimes from the ages of 13, 14, 15, 16 and up, right? And let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all believe, right, what age do y'all believe, right, that a kid knows, really knows from right and wrong, all right, and knows that there's real bad consequences behind all of their actions, all right? And, you know, while we wait for that, right, we're going to let them play this video, and then I'm going to say what I got to say so that people can come up and talk, all right? But it's true. At what age, all right, we got a group of kids, right, a group of kids right here that call themselves little rascals. You see where I'm coming from? And what's crazy is, I said it earlier, right? Maybe if let me see. Damn, where am I going? Like I said earlier, why don't we have community-led intervention squads, real ones, not just folks with clipboards and coffee breath, all right? We need to find a way to get our communities together, all right? Fund the programs that these boys need, all right? Because what's crazy is that a lot of them are boys, right? But we found a lot of programs, right? Some of them are unisex, which means boys and girls can get in there, and we got a lot of girl programs out there, all right? But a lot of these programs ain't drawing the attention of these boys. And why? Right? That should be one of the questions that we should be asking. Why it's not drawing their attention? What's going on? What's happening? And is there enough programs, right? And I'm going to get deep into that in 1 second, all right? But let's watch this. Let's watch this. Then, you know, listen, after this clip, I'm going to say everything I got to say, right? All in a whole. And then everybody's going to understand what I'm trying to say. Because this shit is wild.
You, honey, you stealing, you coming to my house, you on my property, threatening me, you old enough to.
This is no guidance. This is what happens. We have no guidance right here. When you don't have any fear of when you go home. People, I saw a comment the other day on.
Now, I agree with him. That's what happens when you don't have no guidance. All right? I agree with him on that part. When you don't have no guidance.
One of our videos talking about people really, like kids these days, will go kill and then go sleep under their mom's roof. The same, like, and their mama will have no idea.
You know what should happen? It's sad to say this. They might need to start charging the parents.
They might need to start charging the parents. That would, yeah.
That'll change.
That will change it. Oh, your child did murder? Okay, well, he's gone forever, but you getting 10 too.
Yeah, you need like a negative.
You think that's going to work? Do y'all think that's going to work? Charging the parents. I hear this is what I wanted y'all to hear right there. Too many people saying this. Charging the parents for what? For what their child did? And their parent has no idea that their child has committed murder. Now, if you're telling me neglect, then charge the parent for neglect. But for the parent being charged of the kid's murder, no. And we'll get into that in 1 second.
Mama will have no idea.
You know what should happen? It's sad to say this. They might need to start charging the parents.
They might need to start charging the parents. That would, yeah.
That'll change.
That will change it. Oh, your child did murder? Okay, well, he's gone forever. But you getting 10 too.
Yeah, you need like a negligent parent charge or something.
Because you failed. Yeah. You failed. And it's like, it's different if they're 18. 10, 12, that is that is your responsibility.
Yeah. Somebody supposed to be watching.
Somebody has to, something gotta happen. We gotta stop caring about feelings and start caring about safety.
Yeah.
These kids are violent and dangerous.
Yeah, the parents might have to. Somebody gonna say that's crazy to say. But yeah, the parents might need to actually.
Like, what's crazier? That or letting them just run around and kill.
And this is why I say we need to bring back the PERT walk. We need to take away that little bill that got put in when Biden got into office, right? That, you know, when a parent, you know, sat here and chastised their child. Listen, they passed that bill in a lot of cities, all right? If a parent screams, yells, you know, chastises their child in a way that, you know, they think that it's child abuse, the child gets taken and the parent does time. So a lot of parents are like, well, I ain't going to jail for you. I ain't going to jail for this. And a lot of kids are out here just roaming these streets. I can go deeper into that. All right, real deep. That's why I'm saying it's deeper than what y'all keep seeing. And instead of out here putting all this shit, I get it. Y'all got some good ideas. But before y'all do that, we have to hit a couple, angles first. We have to, how can I say, improve a couple things, because a parent shouldn't be charged unless it's a neglectful parent. Because believe it or not, you have good parents out here. It's just unfortunately that the influence out there of their outside of their household is stronger than the influence in their household. So listen again.
Caring about feelings and start caring about safety.
Yeah.
These kids are violent and dangerous.
Yeah, the parents might have to.
Somebody threatening me. You old enough to.
This is no guidance. This is what happens. We have no guidance right here. When you don't have any fear of when you go home. People, I saw a comment the other day on one of our videos talking about people really like kids these days will go kill and then go sleep under their mom's roof. The same, and their mama will have no idea.
You know what should happen?
The mama won't have no idea, but is that the mama's fault? I mean, let's say if you're neglectful, yes, but when you're not, just because you're supposed to know your child in and out doesn't mean that when your child is out there in them streets every day, you know exactly who's there with. You should know. But sometimes there's new people in the crowd getting them to do new things. Your child should know better and walk away, but sometimes they get caught up. What do we do about that? That's why we talk about having, a father and a mother figure in a child's life. And we can go deeper into this. But people don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear that.
Sad to say this, they might need to start charging the parents.
They might need to start charging the parents.
That'll change.
That will change it. Oh, your child didn't.
Did it work when they did it with truancy? Did it work? No, it didn't. You want to know why? Because these badass kids were still being bad within the system while the parents were locked up, had to do time, had to pay a fine, right? And then fight to get their child back. Some didn't. Some did. Did it work when they did that with the truancy? No. So I think we need to think a little deeper. Start, testing them noggins. Because arresting the parents for every crime that a child does out here is not going to work.
Murder? Okay, well, he's gone forever, but you getting 10 too.
Yeah, you need like a negligent parent charge or something.
Because you failed. You failed. And it's different if they're 18. 10, 12. That is that is your responsibility.
Yeah. Somebody supposed to be watching.
Somebody has to. Something got to happen. We got to stop caring about feelings and start caring about safety.
Yeah.
It's not even about the feelings. Some parents are working. Some parents are doing what they got to do. You see where I'm coming from? And, listen, the influence outside of the home. That's what I'm saying. Some parents are not clueless because they don't care. Some parents are clueless because things get done within another area with another child, and it's crazy that family's child knows what's going on, but you don't. Once again, and I call that miscommunication, and I think it's something else. But listen, I don't got word in the chat right now.
These kids are violent and dangerous.
Yeah, the parents might have to. Somebody gonna say that's crazy to say, but yeah, the parents might need to actually.
What's crazier, that or letting them just run around and harass America?
Yeah.
This is bad, y'all. This is why
we need to, all right? We need to find a way to reach our kids is what we need to do, all right? And what's crazy that we're not doing it right, all right? I'm not going to say we, some, all right? So like I said, once again, right? Everybody want to, talk tough, right? On crime when it's the youth. But let's be real. It ain't just the youth out here wilding. All right. Grown folks been setting the blueprint. Addicts, folks battling mental health, and the ones pulling strings behind the scenes. Yeah, them too. So before we start pointing fingers, let's ask, who taught these kids the game? Why is it easier to criminalize a 15-year-old, right, than to hold a 45-year-old accountable for exploiting them? If we're going to get hard on the crime, and why I say, right, a 45-year-old for exploiting them, you got motherfucking drug dealers out here, right, letting these little 7, 8-year-olds sell drugs without their parents knowing, helping keep the secret from their parent. And listen, topic for another live on some real shit. Listen, and I'm not saying it's all like that, but the majority of them are doing it. And I'm peeping it. You got parents out here trying to figure out where their kids at, right? Their kid's not supposed to be in the corner. Then when the parents start yelling, start trying to discipline, boom, DHS gets called in. No hands get put on a child. I've seen this shit myself. A parent trying to get their child in order without putting hands on the child, and motherfuckers want to come and call child services on them instead of calling child services on the motherfucker that's putting hands on the child, right? Or instead of calling child services on the motherfucker that's here neglecting their child, leaving their child alone, y'all want to call child services because the parent is sitting here and is fed up, and sometimes, they don't know how to control their anger and they'll shout and scream. They shouldn't. But sometimes it does get to that level. We're not going to sit here and sugarcoat shit, all right? It gets to that extent sometimes. We're in a fucking hood. Communities that are considered poverty. How many adults are walking free while minors sit behind bars for crimes they never, how can I say, crimes they were coached into, right? And like, is this country really fed up with the youth, or is it, how can I say, or just fed up with seeing consequences of neglect? Some folks say we need this to crack down nationwide. And I hear you. But let's not pretend the whole country is fed up with the youth. Some of y'all just fed up with seeing your own reflection in the chaos. All right? We talk about justice, but where's the justice for kids born into survival mode? Where's the accountability for adults who use minors like pawns? Where's the healing for families torn apart by addiction, poverty, and how can I say, untreated trauma? How we expect parents to discipline when the law got them scared to raise their voice? How are we going to say, be a parent, but then pass bills, right, that make parents, that make parenting feel illegal? How are we helping parents who got kids wilding out, but can't even get them therapy without a HIPAA battle, all right? Why don't we have community-led intervention squads, real ones? We talked about that. Why aren't we funding parenting support programs that actually work? Why not create safe spaces where parents can help before their kid becomes a headline? Can we build mentorship programs? We used to have them. It used to be called the Big Brother program, but unless, the youth commits, boom, what we're talking about, murder, they don't receive them type of programs no more. All right? I'm not sure where they from. I forgot. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Shit. But the link is down below for anybody that, wants to come up and talk, right? I'm going to finish my commentary real quick, right? I'm going to say what I got to say. I'm going to speak up because this shit is wild. But the link is down below, and it's also on my community post, all right, my community wall, a.k.a. post. All right, let's talk about it, all right? We've been blaming parents, blaming kids, blaming the weather. Hell, some of y'all probably blaming Mercury, right, in retrograde. But the real villain, the people within the system. Let's break it down. Schools, underfunded, overcrowded, and more focused on test scores than trauma. Mental health. One counselor for 500 students, and they busy filling out paperwork while kids out there crying for help in silence. All right? Justice system. Built like a trap house with a revolving door. Lock them up, release them, repeat. No healing, no rehabilitation, just punishment on a loop. Picture it, all right? Sit down with that. Like, imagine if we were, how can I say, imagine if we treated a community trauma, right, like a pothole in rich neighborhoods, fixed immediately with apologies and fresh, how can I say, applause. But nah, we out here dodging trauma like it's Mario Kart on some real shit. That's what the fuck we doing. That is what we're doing. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, all right? A lot of people, oh, I'm grown, you can't tell me. I'm not telling nobody what to do. I'm just calling out the bullshit, all right? People on here just for clicks. They say they want to help, but y'all on here just for, I'm not going to say clicks and views because we all want, what we're saying to be viewed. You see where I'm coming from? But motherfuckers out here just saying shit just to get a, because it sounds good. All right, this sounds so good, so let me just say it like this. I'm going to draw people's attention, keep them right here tuned in, because what I'm saying is going to draw that attention. Bullshit, when you want to sit here and bring solutions like this, right? Let's bring solutions that hit different, all right? Let's talk about community-led power moves, youth hubs. Can we make spaces with, mentor, how can I say, Can we make spaces with mentors, food, therapy, and creative outlets, not just babysitting and building? Like, let's talk about parent empowerment zones. Like, is there a way to get real support, not just judgment? Workshops, legal aid, mental health access, and a hotline that doesn't just say, please hold. All right, we got a lot of those, and a lot of them need improvement. They're just starting to come out. I mean, as a leader of my community, I've talked about it so many times. Been to the community meetings, went live so that people could see, what they could do, where they could go here in the city that I'm living in. You see where I'm coming from? Things like that is what we need to start doing more. All right, like street cred mentorship. All right. Formerly incarcerated folks mentoring youth, and we got some of them out here, but a lot of people want to bash them and bring them down, especially on social media. All right, but we do need formerly incarcerated. Like, I got a few people online. I just talked to my baby pops too long ago, right? Like, I want to interview a few people that have been incarcerated, whether it's in the past, right? And they're free now or have recently come home, right? And are trying to, work on mentoring kids and get them better. Those that have gotten on their feet and are mentoring, I want to, interview them so they can, so that people out there can see, the ways that people have overcome whatever obstacle was thrown their way. All right. I'm hoping I'm making sense. All right. Things like that need to be done more often. All right. Like, let's talk about school rebuilds. Like, we don't just need new pain, all right? We need new priorities, all right? Trauma-informed teaching, all right? Restorative justice, and staffs that look like the community they serve, all right? Now, let me ask y'all a few questions, and I would love to hear y'all answers down below, and let's get the discussion started on these questions, all right? Like, let's talk about policy shifts that matter. How about funding prevention? How about funding preventions like we fund punishment? And what I mean is funding prevention. What I mean by that is funding these programs that are actually needed within our communities instead of worrying about partying, hookah weekends, name brand clothes and stuff like that. You see where I'm coming from? Concerts and shit like that. All right. Why not make HIPAA laws more flexible when it comes to minors in crisis? Because the parents should be able to help their kids, but they got their hands tied up. Can we stop criminalizing poverty and start investing in healing? All right. Link down below for anybody that wants to come up and talk and give their input. All right. Let me tell y'all this. All right. The ancestors have been told us. This is about reclamation. All right. This is about flipping pain into power and remembering that our ancestors didn't survive all that hell just for us to settle for broken systems and weak solutions. All right. Like, yo, I'm telling you, Big Mama didn't need no parenting class. She had a slipper, a stare, and a spiritual connection that could humble a whole room. And you know what's crazy? I think that my mom, when it comes to, my generation and stuff like that, my mom was the last one that had it. My mom would sit here and grab a chancleta, which is a flip-flop, and throw that shit. Wah! And it'll be a bullseye wherever she wanted to hit. Whether it was the buttocks, whether it was the thighs, whether it was the legs, whether it was the calves, whether she wanted to hit that neck and then it looked like a, karate chop, but with a flip-flop, aka chancleta, right? Man, she aimed. Then I fucking tell you not to do that. ¿Qué carajo yo te dije? Puñeta! It's like, fuck. You see where, like, come on, man. Like, we don't got no more discipline in these homes no more. And when parents do get like that, guess what? A motherfucker won't call DHS. Oh, they're abusing their child because they threw a flip-flop at the child and told them not to do this. She spanked her child. They sat here and they, their voice got a little too loud. Oh, you can't have your kid no more. That's how it's been for the past few years. All right. Too many of y'all have been stuck on these goddamn laptops watching these influencers that I don't know what the fuck they're influencing, but it ain't the right shit. We're out here acting like we got to reinvent the wheel, but our people been knew how to build community, hold accountability, and heal through storytelling, music, food, and faith. All right? What does power look like when it's rooted in healing and not hierarchy? How do we reclaim narratives that were stolen, twisted, or silenced? All right? Can we build movements that feel like family, not just hashtags? Because everything is a hashtag. And I know I get it. Listen, we're in the era of the Jetsons. All right? We're in the era of the Jetsons. We're the Flintstones, some of us. Hey, call it whatever you want to call it, but this shit ain't going to last for long. All right? The real solutions that heal, all right, are healing cycles, legacy projects, arts and activism. Where's all that at? Can anybody tell me? Nah, people don't want to talk about it. All right? But what if I was to hit it this way? Wealth, spirit, or cultural reclamation, right? This episode, all right, we're going deeper, spiritual, warfare, cultural reclamation, and how to build wealth, right? That don't just stack dollars. It's a legacy. That's what you know, how can I say it? It's a legacy. What you leave behind for your children. When people hear legacy, oh, what is a legacy? Motherfucker, you the legacy. What you do in this life, the choices you make so that, you know, you can leave something behind that your child, right, can keep going with. Your child can sit here and actually, how can I say, continue growing. That's your legacy. Gary says they don't want the responsibility, they want the ideas, but not the roles. That's some real shit. That's some real shit. Who's that? Somebody named Burton. Burton says the black community is doomed, brainwashed, sheep of the Democrats' plantation. That's some real shit, man. Unfortunately, yes, that's true. And I agree with you. Facts, facts, facts. Shout out to Burton, man. Thank you for the comment. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. But that's some real shit, man. We doing too much, yo. Like, listen, trying to meditate in chaos is wild, right? Breathe in. Breathe out. Like, ignore the trauma, the bills, and your cousin blasting trap music in the next room. On some real shit. That's how it is. That's what trying to meditate in this chaos, in this chaotic world is like. Like, we should be talking about making some real moves. Cultural wealth, building, investing in land, legacy, and liberation, not just luxury. Spiritual grounding, reconnecting with ancestral practices, rituals, and wisdom. All right? Like, we should be talking about narrative reclamation. Shout out to Gary Bust It Down. Shout out to The Word. Shout out to Papa Duck. Shout out to Realist. All right? Shout out to the Passer. Who else? There's a few more. It's a few more people on this drawing, man. Shout out to Mouthpiece. Damn, if I forgot you, I do apologize. They end up, they do these things out here, and they don't give a fuck what people think about them or feel about them. Like, owning our stories, publishing our truths, and how can I say, achieving our resistance, that right there, both. This ain't just a podcast, all right? It's a revolution in real time. Like, if you still sleep after this, I ain't whispering. I'm yelling. All right? We're coming for the roots. I don't want just to be talking shit, all right? We're aiming for all the roots. We're trying to get to the root of the problem and improve it. Like, listen. Let me put this on real quick. All right? Because let me get my thoughts together real quick, all right? Because I don't know, maybe some people might hate me for what I'm about to say, right? But it's the facts. It's what I see. It's what I think, and it's what I feel. All right?
In the old days, love was pure and true. Now it's just a show for all to view. People use it for their own gain, leaving hearts in sorrow.
All right, y'all. I just had to get my thoughts together because this is wild. The link is down below for anybody that wants to come up. Once again, it is Penn who has, and listen, I dropped it. Like, I've been getting a lot of DMs of when I'm going to open the panel. The panel is open, all right? I might go live tonight. I'm not sure, but I plan on doing the reviews and reaction on the weekend, all right? My daughter's starting school, so y'all know my schedule's going to flip around again. So you're going to see me more outside and live on Fridays and Saturdays, all right? Unless the word goes live on a weekend and I hop on his panel. But other than that, yeah. Panel is open today. I feel as though this is a topic we need to talk about, right? I would love to hear y'all input if y'all want to, all right? But, let's, like, for me, people are taking this as a joke. Like, yo, like, let's stop playing, right? Once again, everybody want to talk, right? They want to talk tough on crime when it's the youth. But let's keep it, let's keep it a buck. All right? It ain't just the kids wilding. Grown folks been out here setting the blueprint for dysfunction like it's a family heirloom. All right? You got addicts, all right? Untreated trauma, folks exploiting minors like it's a hustle. And somehow the 15-year-old gets cuffed while the 40-year-old, right? The 40, 45-year-old, right? Puppet master walks free. Nah, we're not doing that. Like, if we're not going to get hard on crime, let's get hard on the people, right, that's running the system, all right? That's breeding all this. Let's talk about how we got more prisons than programs. Let's talk about how yelling at your kid might get you investigated, but nobody bats an eye when the system fails them daily. Let's talk about how HIPAA laws make it easier to protect a minor's rights to spiral than a parent's right to intervene. And don't come at me with, how can I say, they're just kids. Like, that's a, how can I say that's a pass? Some of these kids out here driving stolen cars better than grown folks parallel parking. But ask yourself, who they learning it from? Who they mimicking? Who they watching? All right? It's like blaming in the microwave for the food being trash again. Nah. It's the recipe, and some of y'all been cooking dysfunction for generations. All right? We got schools treating trauma with, how can I say, detention slips. One counselor for 500 students. Justice system built like a trap, houses with revolving doors, and folks still out here playing the blame game, like it's a musical chair shit. Newsflash, the music stopped. Time to sit with the truth. Like, I don't know if too many of y'all, like, you know what it is? Yes, I do know. Yes, I do know. All right? Yes, I do know. I'm talking shit when I say I don't know. Y'all know what the fuck is going on. Y'all got the answers in front of y'all faces. This podcast ain't just commentary, right? It's a wake-up call. And if you still sleep after this, I ain't whispering, I'm yelling, all right? We're talking real solutions, youth hubs, parent empowerment zones, street cred, mentorship, trauma-informed schools, healing cycles, legacy projects, art as activism, cultural wealth. All right? Cultural wealth, my bad. Spiritual grounding, narrative reclamation, all right? You name it, we building it. You see, that's the blueprint I'm building for my kids. Because at the end of the day, it was built for me. It helped me. I fucked up trying, at one point, lashing out and following that blueprint. Y'all following? That shit don't work. That shit lands you on the ground. All right? Because our ancestors didn't survive all that hell just for us to settle for broken systems. All right? And weak solutions. Big Mama didn't need no parenting class. She had a slipper, a stare, and a spiritual connection. You can't fix what you don't feel, and you can't heal what you won't name. Meanwhile, we got kids out here navigating trauma like it's a maze with no exit. All right? They ain't bad. They're brilliant, but misdirected. All right. They're mirrors of the madness we refuse to clean up. And we're the, role models. We're the leaders. All right. So what are we doing? We building, we reclaiming, we're exposing we exposing the illusion and rewriting the damn script. All right. That's what the fuck we got to do. And I'm sorry, sometimes my little French comes out, it just comes out. It comes out. All right. My little potty mouth sometimes comes out. It does. Because it's like we know this already. And it's like people become influencers to make money and, sit here and divide. They know they're dividing. So shout out to the real ones out there. All right. This platform ain't for passive listeners. All right. It's for the ones who feel the fire in their gut and they hear truth. All right. It's for the ones who silence. All right. How can I say? It's for the ones who know silence is kind of, there you go. It's for the ones who know silence is violence and laughter is medicine, all right? It's for the ones who want to turn pain into power and confusion into clarity. We're not just reacting, all right? We're resurrecting wisdom. We're not just talking, we're torching lies, all right? We're not just watching, we're waking up. So if you come for comfort, how can I say? You might want to exit stage left. But if you come for truth, all right, and a side of, damn, she really said that, welcome to a Shorty Reacts, all right, where every episode is a mirror and a megaphone and a movement. It's time to wake up, all right? Too many of y'all are out here sleepwalking. Too many of y'all sitting here pointing the finger, not realizing that while those two are out here pulling, right, like that, look how many are pointing back. And even if you was to point your finger, right, using both hands, you have more fingers pointing back. Man, listen, I opened up the panel today for y'all. Nobody came through. So I appreciate those that came in, had a conversation with a Shorty, man. Listen, leave y'all comments down below. All right, let's get the discussion started. I asked a lot of, questions. And, how can I say, each one of these mind-provoking questions that I asked throughout the live, I gave my own solutions. All right, we're not here to, how can I say, bash or bring anybody down. I'm not here for likes, all right? Listen, it's too much going on. And if you want your community to be better, right, you have to start within your home, all right? Then you can start working with your community to fix your community. But first, fix home, because if you can't fix home, you can't help outside of home. But maybe I'm wrong. But till next time, this y'all Shorty Racheal. I hope all of y'all have a blessed and humble day. I hope all of y'all continue to have a blessed